Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. Instant match reaction. Everton 1, Fulham 3 at Goodison Park. And I can't quite believe what I have just witnessed over the course of the last hour and a half of my life. I sat here yesterday when we done the game preview to this game and I said that there is no universe, there's no world, there's no way, there's nowhere on this Milky Way where this game should mean more than Everton. There was never, ever, ever an outcome which led to this game meaning more to Fulham than it did to Everton. Fulham have lost 4 of their last 4 games before this afternoon. They have got absolutely nothing to worry about. They won't go down. They probably won't get into the European positions either. They are as safe can be. And their last 4 performances have shown that. Although their manager has come out and said that they're not on the beach and they're not looking forward to the summer, their performances have said otherwise. Everton, on the other hand, battling to stay in the Premier League, coming off the back of an absolutely atrocious defeat at Old Trafford, where the performance was absolutely horrendous, needing to bounce back, needing to prove that we deserve to be in this league, needing to prove that we want to be in this league. Absolutely everything to play for against a Fulham team with absolutely nothing to play for. And you would have sworn by today's performance that it was the other way round. An absolutely fucking disgraceful performance by Everton today. An absolute fucking embarrassment. I don't know what the manager was doing. He was making the type of decisions that got him the sack at Burnley, and that obviously turned Burnley's hierarchy into not believing that he was good enough to do the job to keep them in the Premier League towards the back end of last season. He was making those same decisions today. Why he A, started with Neil Maupay up front, and B, persisted to play a style of lumping the ball up to him when he's 4'6", against a centre-half who was about 15 foot. I do not know why that system then changed when we actually brought Ellis Sims on, who is a capable forward in the air and who is big enough to win those headers. He changed the system when Ellis Sims come on. How Ben Godfrey managed to stay on the pitch for as long as he did is beyond me. Ben Godfrey, Alex Iwobi, Damari Gray, Neil Maupay, all an absolute fucking disgrace today. Every single one of them. I'm not saying they're a disgrace because we lost the game, and I'm not saying they're a disgrace because they didn't score or because, they didn't create much. I'm saying they're a disgrace because from the first fucking minute, every player I've just mentioned there did not want it. Ben Godfrey did not want it from the first fucking minute. Damari Gray did not want it from the first fucking minute. Alex Iwobi did not want it from the first fucking minute. If you do not want to play for this football club, if you do not want to work hard, if you do not want to battle, then fuck off. Don't bother turning up to Finch Farm. Don't bother turning up to Goodison Park. Fuck right off. I do not want you here if you aren't willing to give absolutely everything. And there isn't one Evertonian on this planet that can sit there and tell me that Ben Godfrey, Damari Gray, Neil Maupay, and Alex Iwobi specifically give absolutely everything today. And I'm picking them 4 out because I watched them for the entirety of the game, and every 50-50 they shit out of, every attempt for the ball they ran away from, every time they had the ball they chose the lazy option. They didn't run, they didn't work hard, they didn't slack their men down. They were an absolute fucking disgrace today. An absolute fucking disgrace. And everybody else around them wasn't much better, but at least the likes of Dwight McNeil ran around a little bit. At least the likes of, fucking, what's his name, Vitaly Mykhalenko had a bit of a go, even though he's a horrendous footballer. He's a horrendous footballer. At least the 2 centre-halves had a little bit of battle in them. I thought Michael Keane, who again was a fault for the third goal, of course, but I thought other than that, he had a relatively decent game. How? It does not compute in my mind that there could have been a single Everton player today playing in that game of football that wasn't willing to give absolutely everything. And yeah, there was 4 or 5 of them that weren't willing to give anything. Never mind everything, weren't willing to give anything. And when you look at the situation that we're in, when you look at how desperate we are to win games of football, to pick up points, to get us out of the position that we're in, let me just remind everybody watching, Wolves have won today. Wolves are a team that are in and around us. Wolves are a team that Everton have got to play before the end of the season. Wolves have won. Bournemouth have won away at Tottenham. They've gone away at Tottenham. They conceded an 88th minute equaliser. And they still went on and scored in the 95th minute to win that game. We've got to play Fulham. Actually, we've got to play Wolves and we've got to play Bournemouth before the end of the season. I said it yesterday and I will say it again. This was the easiest game Everton had to play before now and the end of the season. I don't think we'll win another game of football. And I'm not just saying that because of the emotion. I'm not just saying that because I'm frustrated. I'm not just saying that because of the game I've just witnessed. I don't think we'll win another game of football. I don't think we'll win away, because we're absolutely incapable of winning away from home, whether it be this season, last season, the season before. I don't think we'll win away. And the home games we've got coming up, and Newcastle, who have just been absolutely battered today, so they'll need to bounce back if they want to finish in the top four. Manchester City, which will be a bloodbath, and then Bournemouth on the final day of the season. Crystal Palace have won today as well. Somebody's just mentioned in the comments. That game today should have been a nailed-on 3 points. And the absolute shithouses couldn't be arsed turning up, couldn't be arsed working hard, couldn't be arsed battling, couldn't be arsed doing anything to suggest that they wanted to win that game of football today. It seemed from the first minute that 4 or 5 of them were only interested in going home and whatever they had planned to do tonight, watching the races or whatever they had planned to do. Absolutely horrendous. The manager has to take a lot of the blame because he watched it. He watched it for 90 minutes and barely made a change. He brought Ellis Sims on with about 15 minutes to go when you know he was never going to do anything at that point. He left Neil Maupay on, despite the fact it was the worst centre-forward performance I've ever seen at Everton Football Club, and we've seen some bad centre-forwards at this football club. He left Alex Iwobi on, even though in the opening 5 minutes he showed he wasn't interested. Same with Ben Godfrey, same with Damari Gray. How Damari Gray has managed to play 90 minutes there is beyond me. And I know some people can say, well, look at the bench cam, there's no other options and this, that and the other. I'm not arsed. I'd have rather have thrown the young lad on. Samuel Smith was his name. I'd have rather have thrown him on today. I made a point of ragging Damari Gray off at half-time and saying, you're not interested, lad. Or ragging Alex Iwobi off at half-time and saying, you're not interested, lad. That's horrendous today. And if it was an Everton team managed by Frank Lampard who'd lost in that way and lost that game of football like that, the manager would be getting an unbelievable amount of stick. And for those people saying it's not Sean Dyche's fault, it's this, that and the other, Sean Dyche set up for a system that relied on a centre-forward being able to win headers and win the ball in the air and bring the ball down and dominate the defender. And he started with Neil Maupay up front in that system. A system that was very clearly suited to a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin wasn't anywhere near the matchday squad. And instead we played Neil Maupay, who not only is he absolutely dreadful in the air, but he's just a dreadful centre-forward. He's just a really, really, really bad footballer. And that was what we had today. We had a lot of really, really, really bad footballers. Ben Godfrey is a bad footballer. Vitaly Mykolenko is a bad footballer. Neil Maupay is a bad footballer. What Fulham had was decent footballers. And that was a Fulham team that had lost their last 4 games on the bounce. And they didn't even have to get out of second gear. The last half an hour was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And other than a 5-10 minute spell at the end of the first half and a 5-minute spell at the start of the second half, the whole performance was an embarrassment. And I look at that and I just think, where do we expect to pick up points now? Where do we expect to pick up points? I don't expect to beat Newcastle at Goodison. I don't expect to beat Leicester away. I don't expect to beat Wolves away. City, you may have write it off now. I don't expect to beat Palace away. Where do the points come from? Never mind the wins. Where do the points come from? Just abysmal. And as I said, listen, anybody can lose a game of football. Anybody can be unlucky. Anybody can, narrowly, lose a game in, an important game, and you have to try and pick yourself up and go again. But to go out in a game like that and to not care, and to not show any effort, and to not show any desire, and to not show any commitment, and to not show any battle or fight or intensity. And I don't care what anybody says, by the way, nobody can sit there in the comments or on social media and tell me that any of those players gave a fuck today. With the exception of maybe James Garner, who looked alright and Dwight McNeil, who looked all right until the last 20 minutes of the second half. You cannot sit there and tell me, what, Ben Godfrey did give effort, Cam, or, well, Alex Iwobi did run around, or Damari Gray does run around. They don't give a fuck. They do not give a fuck, and they showed it today. They could not care less. It's as simple as that. And when you've got a squad of players who do not give a fuck, you will be relegated, because the other teams around us mightn't have great footballers, and their footballers mightn't be particularly good, but they're showing fight and they're showing care. And in the last 2 games, those Everton players have showed they don't give a fuck for whatever reason, because before that, there was fight, there was effort, there was determination, but the last 2 weeks have been abysmal, and that goes down to the manager. And the manager has to be able to get that tune out of these players, and he can't. He didn't last week, and he couldn't this week in a game that should have been a must-win. And in those spells of, 5-10 minutes where we looked on top or where we were the better team, Fulham showed that they weren't really interested. They weren't particularly arsed. I don't think Fulham were desperate to win that game today. I just think we were that bad, and we made it absolutely comfortable for them. Really, really, really comfortable for them. Because in the spells where we were on top, they weren't busting a bollock to get back or busting a bollock to win the ball. They didn't really seem particularly interested, Fulham, because they've got nothing to play for, and we've got everything to play for. And today we were horrendous, but more importantly, they didn't care. I'm not particularly bothered about these players putting in a horrendous performance technically, because we know they're not very good at football. But when they're not caring, fuck off. Do me a favour. Any of them that are watching, Iwobi, Mope, fucking McNeil, Mikalenko, Gray, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Keane, Pickford, any of them. If you don't give a fuck, don't bother turning up. I'd rather take a instant defeat because we're forfeited because we haven't got enough players than watch players who really quite evidently do not care. It's as simple as that. And today was a show of they don't care, and a show of tactical ineptitude by the manager. And as I said, making the type of decisions that ultimately got him the sack at Burnley. And whether you love Sean Dyche and whether you think he's done a great job so far and whether you're his biggest fan, you can't tell me otherwise. You simply cannot tell me otherwise. The goals we conceded were abysmal. Again, far too easy to score against Everton. Ball comes across the box, back across, and there's always somebody stood on his own with a comfortable free finish. And the third one is a typical centre-back mistake. We know every week Michael Keane and James Tarkowski are going to make one of those mistakes, and they did again. But yeah, I honestly I don't see where we go. I really, really, really don't see where we go from here. I don't see us winning another game of football this season, and we probably will. And I might be sitting here in 2 weeks' time laughing, saying, remember when I thought we wouldn't win a game of football? But I won't take it back, because I genuinely do not see us winning another game of football this season. I don't. It's as simple as that. I don't. Because I said this weeks ago, and I'll say it again, I don't see us winning away from home. I really don't see us winning away from home ever again, because we're that bad away from home. And that was the easiest home fixture we had to play, was today. And it wasn't even a narrow defeat. It wasn't even like we lost, but we worked hard and we were unlucky. Fulham played with us. And for the last 25 minutes, it was a training session for Fulham. A Fulham team that had lost 4 games on the bounce. For the last 25 minutes, it was a training session for them. Our players were chasing shadows and didn't look interested. You would think we were the team on the beach and they were the team fighting for their lives. I don't know, but I'm bored of this football club. I'm bored of this team. I'm bored of these players. I'm bored of the same shite every single week. I'm bored of it. I'm really, really fucking bored of it. Anyway, we're going to leave it there, because I don't think I can even compute actually what happened in the game, because I'm fuming. Play ratings will probably be up tomorrow. I'm not going to do them today because, yeah. Simple as that. That was the most important second half of our season, and look at how they performed. And don't come out in the media and give it the same, we need the fans behind us, we need the fans, this, that and the other. How about you show us a bit of fucking fight first? How about you show us a bit of effort? You know that $100,000 a week you're on? I don't want to see Alex Iwobi in his brand new Range Rover with his brand new watch at the weekend, or Damari Gray with his fancy £500 tracksuit. How about you show a bit of fucking effort, you lazy bastards? Anyway, I'm going. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Play ratings will be up at some point in the next 24 hours. See you later.